Nothing?
I trained jujitsu a little bit here
yeah?
and there. Yeah.
All right, happy Sunday on this July 21st, 2024. On another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, which means to the body. So let's go ahead and talk some boxing. So, maybe just a little quick recap what happened yesterday with the whole Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. Not really my cup of tea, but, I saw some highlights. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Another thing that went on this week, Gervonta Davis versus Vasily Lomachenko has been brewing, I guess, because there were talks of some negotiations going on. I'll talk about that in another video as well. But let's go ahead and talk about Madrimov versus Crawford. I'm sorry, I should be more respectful to the undisputed champ at 147, Terrence Bud Crawford versus Israil Madrimov, which is going down on August 3rd. So, I just saw an interesting interview, right? It's Snow Queen LA on YouTube, another YouTube channel. Go ahead and check out that lovely, lovely chick that's been covering boxing for quite some time, putting that work in. But anyways, so they interview Madrimov. I think they interview some other cats in the team. I know Joel Diaz was interviewed there. But some interesting revelations that I had found out that I didn't know about Madrimov. I did not know that he has experience in judo. Judo and some other some other sport in the Eastern Soviet bloc that I guess it's kind of like similar to what was the name of that? I'm so used to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and just regular judo, but it's all whatever. It's all martial art forms of grappling, right? But I'm trying to remember what the other one is that they're what other type of sport which is also grappling and wrestling and whatnot. But anyways, he has a good experience he has major experience in judo and that other sport that I can't recall, so I apologize for that. But anyways, with judo and any type of martial art grappling sport, of course, core strength is one of the pivotal skills that you need in such sports. It's pretty much where you learn about your bear or man strength in general and what you need to do to, pin the guy down and, get the gusto on the points. Or I guess, what they would, I don't really know exactly what the technicalities are in judo to win versus like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But anyways, grappling. And what we know, Terrence Crawford in the American style, he has experience in professional wrestling. Or I should say the arts of the Western American style of wrestling, right? So I don't really know how much of Crawford has experience in that. Of course, not professionally. I think I had said professionally by accident, but he has experience probably in high school and probably just some random years throughout his boxing career. But one thing that we have appreciated, or I guess acknowledged in Crawford's arsenal is, and I say this all the time, it's his core strength, right? And usually sometimes we reference his wrestling background. Okay, and that's why we kind of reference that or connect that with his deadlifting and just his overall type of powerlifting that he does that gives him that core strength. And what we know, Terrence Crawford, that's one of the traits we know that he has in the ring. He's able to take all incomers as far as power in general. And I guess we could talk about when guys go to the clinch, but that's not so much. That's more of in my opinion, a mental aspect of pro boxing is the strength in clinching, because you can get to another guy's head during a particular round, and when you impose strength, that kind of affects the other guy, and it lets them know their current stamina in the situation or whatever round they're in. So that's going to be a very interesting part in I guess comparing right now what we know of Madrimov's judo background and Terrence Crawford's, I guess, high school or just overall background in wrestling. So I find it very interesting because I think right now that's a stalemate. Even though we know Crawford is now going to 154, and we thought, with such circumstances, it's easy for him to, transition or acclimate at 154 without no problem. As they say, carrying his power northbound. But again, as I've said before, this is Madrimov's territory. He's at 154. He's been at 154. He's so used to the 10-ounce gloves in the professional, fights. And I said before, I think Terence Crawford with the 10-ounce glove is not going to be a problem whatsoever. I think it might diminish slightly in speed, but the thumping power is actually going to be to Crawford's advantage, in my opinion. I mean, for those of you that know that you've worn, bigger gloves, and depending on the type of power and speed you possess, me personally, I like wearing sometimes bigger gloves just because you're able to do some fun things in sparring, and you just have more thud in that. So how is Crawford gonna I guess carry that on to 154? I'm sure it's not going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem whatsoever. And I've said before, Crawford, as we've seen, the dude's got some big ass hands, and his knuckles are pretty much just they're worn, torn. So they've got some really good scar tissue in that. So that's going to be advantage to Crawford, in my opinion, wearing the 10-ounce gloves. But again, Madrimov is used to this type of territory. He's used to that type of thumping power. And regarding the interview that we had seen. So now, I mean, I've already known, of course, before that, Madrimov was sparring Bivol, for some time. We know he was sparring, they were sparring in the Canelo, lead up to the Canelo fight. But it's just interesting because I think perhaps Bivol might be a routine, sparring partner throughout Madrimov's career thus far. And I was actually surprised because I saw Beck the Bully. I know Beck has done some stuff with Joel Diaz, if I'm not mistaken, but I did see him in the ring there. So all these Uzbek guys and guys, from the similar block are, I guess, sharing Joel Diaz's gym, and I guess they feel comfortable. But now we got Madrimov, and I think he is actually he's probably sparred Beck the Bully here and there. I mean, Beck the Bully's a southpaw. The dude is huge, and his body attacks are wicked. If you've seen Beck the Bully, you'll know. Obviously, if Beck the Bully is sparring Madrimov, these would be particular light works. Maybe just work to the body, I would imagine. But a guy like Beck the Bully, he hits very hard. I'm not sure if he's like the I wouldn't say main, but a frequent sparring partner of Madrimov when he needs like some really, really good gym work. It's just not really realistic, in my opinion. And especially for prepping up for Terence Crawford, you need a guy that's able to switch it up, has more speed than Beck, of course. Because to me, Beck the Bully is very effective, rushing in and going to the body, and that's not really Crawford's style. As we know, that's not Crawford's style. So I mean, if Madrimov is able to take power from guys like Bivol and Beck the Bully, and who knows, like it's hard to illustrate what's going on in the gym when Madrimov is sparring with them. But what we do know, and everybody acknowledges, Madrimov definitely has a pretty big physique, and so he's pretty muscular. And let me see, 154. I'm gonna say probably Madrimov is right now. Let's see, we're not so far away, man. We're 2 weeks away. We're less than 2 weeks away. But he looks to be about, I want to say 167. I want to say he looks about 167 right now, and he's going to probably cut up maybe 2 more pounds in the week of the fight, and then, of course, drain those extra 10 pounds. So from what I gather from seeing Madrimov's previous weigh-ins. But it's pure muscle, though. The dude's pure muscle. He's way bigger than the Mean Machine, of course. Avanesian, not even compare. You can't compare them, of course. But anyways, these are some interesting things that I guess we need to, talk about, because, like I said, I didn't know that Madrimov had a judo background, and that kind of puts things in different perspectives. It changes the circumstances. My honest opinion, we should definitely. Maybe if you can search some stuff on Madrimov doing some judo stuff on some clips on YouTube, go ahead and check it out. Will that make a difference? Does it make a difference? I think it makes a difference only in the mental part of the game. And of course, I guess endurance or durability in general, because if Madrimov has been, sparring other guys in judo that are way bigger than him, it's going to be an advantage to Madrimov, in my opinion, mentally, because he's, like, for me, You're not going to beat Crawford from the distance. We know Crawford has the reach, but it's just the speed and Crawford's intelligent jab. He's got the best American jab in boxing, in my opinion, and he does it so gracefully. He's having fun when he's fighting. So I don't think it's something that Madrimov is going to want to play. I guess maybe in the first half or maybe the first rounds, probably Madrimov's going to have to get that feel for it, right? And so he might, strategically lose some rounds on purpose just so we can see what Crawford's willing to do as far as, feints and fakes. And so it's going to be very interesting. But I think Madrimov's game plan to beat Crawford is going to be an inside game, and in my honest opinion, only if Madrimov is successful in rounds where we're just very surprised with his ability throughout the rounds, then maybe go back to some fun pivoting and weaving just out of the norm as he's done before. But it's actually interesting because I had said this in several podcasts prior that I think Madrimov, in other podcasts joining some other channels, that Madrimov has been playing around in his previous fights. He's just too comfortable because he knows the level that he's in. And in the recent interview, Madrimov had acknowledged that he has been playing around here and there. So it's going to be a very interesting tactical fight. And I agree. I think it's going to be it's probably going to be the fight of the year. Should Madrimov win, it might even put Joel Diaz in the category to finally get coach of the year. I'm not sure if he was coach of the year when Bivol had beaten Canelo, because there was also the coach, but I think now might be the time to give that to Joel Diaz if he does actually pull off the win, And I wouldn't say so much major upset. I mean, I do have Crawford still winning on points. I think it's gonna go 12, of course. And I actually have it as a unanimous decision. I got a UD for Crawford. So we will see. We will see what Crawford's game plan will be against Madrimov, and of course that's the talk in these upcoming weeks. So I'm very excited. But yeah, just think about that, man. The judo aspect and Crawford's wrestling background, as far as just core strength, core versus core. So just think about that, and I advise you guys to watch more footage of either guys and try and compare similar physiques, similar styles. Of course, I think so far the only guy that's comparable to Madrimov in Crawford's previous resume would be Mean Machine, just that kind of style, just pretty much good with footwork. But of course, Madrimov has a completely different style, and I'm just so curious how do you prep for Terence Crawford if you're a Madrimov, So I'm just so curious on who they've got. Maybe they have some guys that they haven't disclosed, but who knows? We'll see. But anyways, I'm on to the next one. I think my next video I'm going to talk about the Davis versus Lomachenko fallouts, because I see a lot of people talking that Lomachenko is ducking Tank Davis, and let's talk about that. So anyways, on to the next one, and peace.